Number 8. Adelaide Schroen. On July the 7th of 2021, a Delta flight captain ordered Florida woman Adelaide Schroen be removed from an aircraft at Southwest Florida International Airport following her belligerent refusal to wear a face mask. According to reports from other passengers, 23-year-old Schroen had begun exhibiting disruptive behavior as the aircraft sat at the gate. Not only had she refused to don the mandatory face wear, but she was also reported to have argued with flight crew and spat at other passengers. 2 uniformed police officers boarded the plane and approached Schroen, with their ensuing interaction captured on cell phone video by witnesses at the scene. The young woman remained in her seat and started arguing with the officers. She was eventually given the choice of getting off the aircraft willingly or be forcefully removed from it. Following Schroen's repeated refusal to comply with the former option, one of the officers grabbed her arms and started moving her towards the exit. Schroen tearfully reacted by telling law enforcement they weren't respecting her human rights. She was arrested and charged with resisting an officer, trespassing, and interference with aircraft operations. Body cam footage later released by the police would show Schroen continuing to be disruptive as she was transferred to jail and during the booking process. Number 7. Apple Store incident. Following a reported argument over the face masks mandated to stop the spread of COVID-19, a security guard at an Apple store in Manhattan, New York City, was viciously attacked in October of 2021. As staff was attempting to enforce the establishment's mask policy, a suspect, described as an African-American male in his 20s, became aggressive and punched a female employee in the face. A tussle then ensued between the 37-year-old security guard, whose identity wasn't disclosed, and the attacker. Video surveillance would show the guard attempting to subdue the latter before he brandished a knife. He used the blade to slash the security guard on the forehead before stabbing him in the back and left arm. The suspect then fled into a nearby subway station and no arrest had been made as of the latest updates on the matter. The security guard was taken to Bellevue Hospital in serious condition, but he was ultimately stabilized and began to recover. Number 6. Adam Zaborowski. In late July of 2020, Pennsylvania man Adam Zaborowski went to Cigars International in Bethlehem Township, Northampton County. Zaborowski had lost his job because of the pandemic and had also recently lost custody of his child. He entered the cigar store without wearing a face mask in spite of the mandates in effect at the time, which were enforced by the establishment. The store clerk refused to serve Zaborowski, who adamantly maintained that he wasn't required to wear a mask and even pulled out a piece of paper with legislation that he believed supported his argument. As a compromise, the clerk allegedly offered to serve him curbside. 35-year-old Zaborowski grabbed 2 cigars without paying and ran out of the store. The employee chased after him, at which point the man brandished a semi-automatic handgun and fired it in the air. He then shot in the employee's direction as well, but fortunately no one was hurt, including customers smoking outside the shop at the time. The following morning, a Slatington police officer and 2 Pennsylvania state troopers stopped Zaborowski in traffic with the intention of executing an arrest warrant. Zaborowski jumped out of the vehicle and opened fire on them with an AK-47 assault rifle, hitting a police cruiser in the process and causing the Slatington police officer to suffer a minor injury. Law enforcement returned fire, striking Zaborowski in the leg and buttocks. He was taken to a local hospital for treatment and later charged with 22 counts, including attempted murder and aggravated assault for the police shootout, in addition to similar charges stemming from the cigar shop incident. Number 5. Cindy Falco Di Carraro. Florida woman Cindy Falco Di Carraro was arrested in Palm Beach County in January of 2021 following her refusal to comply with local pandemic safety laws. The 61-year-old Boynton Beach resident was in an Einstein Brothers bagel shop where staff had asked her to put on a mask or leave the establishment. The woman, clad in a leopard print outfit, refused to do either, reportedly claiming it was her constitutional right to do so. Workers called local law enforcement, and a video of the interaction that followed subsequently gained a considerable degree of attention online after being uploaded to an Instagram page called Crazy Karens. An officer took Falco Di Carraro by the hand and asked that she exit the building. The woman maintained that she had done nothing wrong, claimed that her personhood was being violated, and accused the officer of trying to kidnap her. A second member of law enforcement arrived and the woman was forcefully removed from the shop. Falco Di Corrado was pushed onto the hood of a police cruiser with officers ordering her to stop resisting as they were handcuffing her. One of them held onto the strap of Falco Di Corrado's person. She accused him of trying to steal it. Even though she was in no visible distress, the woman also claimed that she couldn't breathe. She was charged with trespassing and resisting arrest without violence. It hadn't been Falco Di Corrado's first face mask-related run-in with the police. In May of the previous year, she was captured on video while she was being arrested at a protest against mask mandates. The footage showed Falco Di Corrado being put into handcuffs as she screamed on the grass outside a Sunshine Mart. Number 4. Jailer and Jessica Hill. A security guard was left in critical condition after being stabbed multiple times by 2 women at the store where he worked on Chicago's West Side. As reported by local authorities, the security guard, only identified as a 32-year-old man, had asked sisters Jessica and Jayla Hill to use hand sanitizer and put on their face masks as they entered a Snipes store in Lawndale. The pair refused and an argument ensued, during which 18-year-old Jayla pulled out her phone and started filming. She claimed to be calling someone to come and attack the security guard. He then attempted to grab the phone from her hand, to which Jessica, aged 21, responded by picking up a trash can and hitting him in the face with it. Both sisters then launched a barrage of punches on the victim. As Jayla held him in place by his hair, Jessica pulled out a knife which had been concealed in a comb. She began stabbing the security guard repeatedly, inflicting wounds to his neck, chest, back, and arms. The incident was captured by the store's security cameras, with the manager pleading with the young women to cease their onslaught. In spite of having been stabbed an estimated 27 times, the guard, who reportedly weighed roughly 270 pounds on a 6'5" frame, was able to hold on to the women until police arrived at the scene. They were arrested and held without bond after being charged with attempted murder. The guard was taken to a local hospital, but no further information on his situation was released in the immediate aftermath. Number 3. Adam Jenn. In December of 2021, a Florida man was forced to deboard a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Washington after the crew determined he'd failed to comply with mask requirements by wearing underwear on his face. Cape Coral resident Adam Jenn was captured on a video by another passenger as he was approached by a flight attendant and asked to either put on a proper face mask or be removed from the plane. At the time, 38-year-old Jenn was wearing a red women's thong on his face, a gesture he'd later explained as a protest against the industry's mask rules. The man wanted to illustrate his perceived absurdity of masking on a plane until it reaches cruising altitude, when passengers are then allowed to remove their face wear to eat and drink. United's website indicated that masks should fully cover the mouth and nose while not having openings or vents, regulations with which Jenn claimed that the thong complied. After he was removed from the plane, a number of other passengers reportedly voluntarily got off in support. Jenn subsequently received an email from the airline informing him that he'd been banned while his case was being reviewed by its Passenger Incident Review Committee. Talking to a media outlet, Jenn revealed that he had also been kicked off a Delta Airlines flight in the past for wearing underwear as a face mask. Today's topic was requested by Sean Delap. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Melissa Rain Lively. In July of 2020, an Arizona woman was arrested for tearing down a face mask display at a Target retail store in the Phoenix suburb of Scottsdale. Melissa Rain Lively, age 34, filmed herself ripping masks off the racks, and the footage subsequently went viral. Upon being approached by local law enforcement at her home, Lively recorded the encounter on Instagram Live and described herself as a spokesperson for the White House and QAnon. She urged officers to call President Donald Trump to confirm, as she couldn't detail classified information. The PR executive, whom several internet users dubbed QAnon Karen in the aftermath, later detailed how she'd been indoctrinated by the group, often labeled as a conspiracy movement and sometimes described as a cult. During the lockdown, Lively had begun watching seemingly innocuous QAnon clips online, but before long, the woman was spending hours on end on the internet following related content. Cryptic posts made by the shadowy Q, a purported high-level government official with top-secret information access, began on the anonymous 4chan website in 2017. It grew into a viral phenomenon before solidifying into a political movement. Lively came to adhere to the same core beliefs as other followers of QAnon, which included that a global cabal of satanic cannibalistic figures was operating a deep state against which President Trump was secretly fighting. Lively, who was living at a hotel after her relationship with her husband had become strained by her beliefs, felt it was her mission to join the fight. She had come to see the pandemic as a planned event and regard face masks as an extent of QAnon's perceived adversaries. During what she'd subsequently described as a meltdown, she destroyed the face mask display and claimed she had right to do it, while also referencing her $40,000 Rolex upon being confronted by staff. In light of her public outburst, Lively's husband staged an intervention, after which she was admitted to a hospital, diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and spent weeks in therapy. Lively appeared on a podcast in November of 2021 and explained how apt QAnon had been creating an aura of credibility, reporting, "It destroyed me completely, collapsed my worldview." Number 1. Calvin Munnerlyn. On May the 1st of 2020, Michigan security guard Calvin Munnerlyn, age 43, was gunned down at the Family Dollar store where he worked following an altercation over the face mask policy in effect at the time. 23-year-old Ramonier Travon Bishop, along with Larry Edward and Charmel Lash Teague, both in their mid-40s, were charged with first-degree premeditated murder in the aftermath. Larry and Charmel were reported as being married, while Bishop was identified as the former's son. In the initial phase of the incident, Munnerlyn got into a verbal argument with Charmel after asking her daughter to put on a face mask. He was following an executive order from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, stating that all retail employees and customers have to wear a mask. As shown by surveillance footage, Charmel then began berating the security guard, who consequently asked her to leave and instructed the cashier not to serve her. After approximately 20 minutes, the same SUV in which the belligerent woman had left returned to the store. Larry and Bishop got out and approached Munnerlyn. The former confronted the security guard over the perceived disrespect directed at his wife. In the moments that followed, Bishop produced a handgun and shot Munnerlyn in the head. The father of 8 later passed away in a Flint hospital. His grieving family was shocked that a mask had been the root cause of the incident, with Munnerlyn's widow describing the shooting as senseless and stupid. Thanks for watching. Would you rather wear a face mask whenever in public for the rest of your life, or never wear underwear again? Let us know in the comments section below.